the old pan laid flat. Got the creek in my mind and the dirt on my hands. We chased that little spark from the gravel and the sand. Spin it slow, let it show. There it is again. A little gleam in the stream. Call the whole crew in. Flashing your pan, flashing your pan. Hold that shine if you can. Tuesday night, we all come back. Flashing your pan on the archive track. On the archive track. Old stories ride the chat. New names learn the way. Some swear by the black sand. Some chase a lucky day. When the bucket tips over and the rifle sing true, we all lean in close like we always do. Spin it slow, let it show. There it is again. A little gleam in the stream. Call the whole crew in. Flashing your pan, flashing your pan. Hold that shine if you can. Tuesday night, we all come back. Flashing your pan on the archive track. Keep the pan low, keep the hope high. One bright speck can light the whole sky. Oh, flashing your pan, flashing your pan. Hold that shine if you can. Tuesday night, we all come back. Flashing your pan on the archive track.
Hey, YouTubers and friends, how are you doing tonight? Sorry about the hot mic bit during the live stream countdown, but hey, you know what it is. It's a live show and, you know, it happens. What can I say? Tonight, we have a young gentleman from the eastern states, like Jesse and I. I found him on TikTok. He has a huge following on TikTok. I enjoy his shorts over there. And I followed him here to YouTube. And we're having him on our show tonight. His name is Prospector Tuck. I like his style. He seems to know what he's talking about when he's talking about plugs and relics and whatnot. So, you know, the rest of the show, we can keep Jesse in control, will be about Tuck. And we'll have a really good time with all of you out there. So don't go away. We'll be right back.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Tuesday Night Hangout Live. It's Tuesday night Hangout Live. It's Tuesday night Hangout Live. It's Tuesday night Hangout Live. With your hosts, and Marvin, and ToledoJess. Tuesday Night Hangout Live is a Flashin' Your Pan production.
those TikTok and the shorts on YouTube are getting so big and why they're pushing, because the reality is that's all we want to watch.
Right.
You know,
And
I don't. Go ahead.
I've found that, making that switch to short form content. So I started on YouTube in it was 2020.
Right.
And I heard of TikTok. I had never wanted to get it because I didn't want to involve myself in it. But I had a few friends say, listen, like, you just got to post some of these things you're finding. Like, they're crazy, they're interesting. I found that making short form content really made me become a better storyteller, because if you're,
you only got a few seconds.
you only got a few seconds, you have 3-5 seconds to hook them, and then you got a couple more seconds to really get them or tell them something of value. And at some point I'm going to transition back into YouTube where I have longer videos and I can really give some of my insights in a longer form. I do think that long form content still has a place, especially in metal detecting and informational things like what we do. But yeah, like, going to short form really made me become a better storyteller, because you only have so much time to get someone.
Let's save that for the show, since Ed's already got us on and they're listening to us anyway. So let's go ahead and start our show, and then we'll get right back to this. All right, because it's cool stuff, kind of.
I thought we were on.
We were. He put us on.
We were.
But
you know the sequence, Jesse, and there's only.
Right. I knew he was going to do that, but I wanted to talk to you about.
There's so many.
I want to let you know how I felt about that. Right.
Joseph Knowlton, thanks for joining the Flash Fam. Welcome. Thanks for hopping over from Rumble. You could also find us over at Rumble. Gold Hunter 77. Looks like
David.
I don't remember that name. There's so many treasure hunters out there anymore. Welcome. David Villa.
David Villa. Who's hey you guys, I'm not the oldest one in the room anymore. Pick on David for a while.
Good day, Terry Marshall. How you doing?
Welcome, Joseph.
Field. Oh, look, it's
look who's in the house.
Run for the hills.
What's up, Ron?
Butcher that a little. Sorry, Iron Maiden. Ron Adams,
David,
good to see you.
Hang on. David, I'm as old as dirt. You are older than dirt. So get it straight. What's up, Terry Marshall?
GoPro Unlimited, good to see you. And Moto Mining, our friend from Vancouver Island, British Columbia. No, we did not start without you guys.
Nope. Terry Curry, what's up? Alice in Wonderland says Flash.
Hello, Alice.
GPU, Mr. Lodak, the world's greatest moderator. What's up, buddy? Moto. Nightbot, welcome. he comes in all the time. Pain in the butt. I think we got everybody.
Yeah, for now.
Mr. Lodak, mics are hot.
Those latecomers. Sorry, we already said hi and everything. Sorry.
Oh, Terry Curry, the old man in the house, according to him, older than 75.
There he is. There you are. There's 3 of you as old as pterodactyl. So.
That's right.
That's right.
So is new. A 3-letter word.
Why won't iPod let you? I don't know.
David
Maybe they don't accept subscribers. I
don't know.
David Alvanzetti, the artist, how are you doing? I saw some of your work last week, I think it was, on Facebook. Good job, buddy. I didn't comment to the post.
So you were just at Cottonwoods last weekend, huh?
Yeah, I went down for Candu's birthday, Candu Veterans,
Right.
at his 50, I believe it was, and he had it at Cottonwood Trails. Jim's been a lot down there since the last time I was there 7 years ago, and since the flood where we almost got caught in when we
Right.
were down the road a few miles from there. 2 years ago, it got totally wiped out. So still the gold. Um, we got some rain Friday night all night into the morning. The river came up, or creek came up about 2.5 feet or so. Terry, Grease Monkey Adventure or Grease Monkey Prospecting. Terry's channel. Oh my goodness. But his piglet got taken away.
Ouch.
Um, Lost his gold hard mats, but he
Oh.
did not lose his dream mat. I told him, "There's your sign. There's your
Well,
sign."
hey, what I've noticed about Dream Mat, if once it hits the bottom and sticks, it's not going very far. It's too damn heavy. That thing sinks and it just sits there.
I
But I mean, as long as there's not water getting underneath it, it's gonna just kind of hang out there.
I could tell you this, Jesse. I'm glad I I thought about. I had to walk back across the stream, put a safety line to a higher tree. At first, I didn't, and I'm like, I'm not gonna take it for granted that this anchor and that anchor, because I had a front anchor like I normally do, and then I had a back anchor so my dredge wouldn't motorboat up on me. And so I'm like, well, if we get swift current, that will go downstream. So I'm gonna put up a safety rope, which I did, thank goodness. But Ed
Surprised you didn't
had,
pull it out. I'm surprised you didn't pull it out. I'd have
oh,
pulled
I'm
it
gonna
out.
have to go rescue Dredge 911. But if it would have got deeper, it would have started porpoising because of my anchors.
Right.
Kind of like
Whoa.
Thomas, Lucky Ducky Thomas Folks that year at the North,
Yes.
where his
Yes.
started going under. Don G, good to see
Gee.
you. Did you put that dredge?
Yeah, that was
Yes, I did, Terry. Yes, I did.
I'm surprised you didn't pull it out. You know better than that.
Oh,
Especially here in this area
a
when the
lot
water
of
can go
times I
quick.
do. Wes, Hippie Explorer, good to see you. Um, at first
The
the forecast wasn't that bad, Jesse, and then it just kind of
and
like
you wait
exploded to the west of us, and next thing you know, it was from the Gulf of Mexico to Canada.
and you trust your weatherman. I trust my weatherman about as much as I trust my government, but
No,
that's
I
much
don't
as I say
trust
about that.
Weather Channel, and if I would have watched you all, whatever his name is, on YouTube, who's more right than wrong.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I watch him. He's pretty good. He
You
kind of
all,
gives you an idea what's
you
going to be
all
happening.
something. Rufus, I think aren't you the guy who won that dream mat off of me
Ru,
during Chris's Bogus's giveaway a couple years back?
Rupatrus,
Rooted Rockhound, I think he is.
rock out.
Well, welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Don't slip and fall.
But yeah, I didn't have to, but I probably should have. Jim, Jim McIntyre, his 4-inch, his anchor broke loose and floated down the because it was HD shovel head tied to the bank, and on a little gravel bar he was working his dredge, then Jim's dredge, then my dredge. I woke up in the morning, said, Ed's dredge is there. My dredge looks good as long as the water don't come up. It already stopped raining. And I'm like, but where's Jim's dredge? And then Jim said to me later that day, he's like, I went out, I go, well, there's Cali Ed or HD's, there's Ed
Check out
Marvin's.
check out
And
some of the.
he goes, okay, but he didn't think about his own dredge till he was on the shitter. Beep. He was in the outhouse thinking he was taking a
Hey, where's
dump,
my
and he's
dredge?
like, wait a second, my dredge was between their dredges. But apparently he had a huge slab for an anchor, and it broke free, floated down, and slid along that bedrock there. Uh, there's a long stretch that's bedrock, and it slid across that bedrock, then finally dropped into one of his old dredge holes and stayed put.
That's good.
But JP's JP Lonzamore pump went under.
Oh,
Uh, One of Jim's pumps with the thigh banker went totally under. That whole gravel bar went under. But it cleaned up fairly fast. I had to move to the gravel bar off my bedrock crack.
you know how it gets up around here and in the Midwest.
Things
It can
pop up.
drizzle somewhere up the along the way, and you'll get flooded for a minute.
Yeah, yeah.
But check this out. When I talked about the weatherman, right? He goes, I have a bee that tells the weather. And then somebody was it?
Rufus is a
Somebody said
looker.
they.
He's bad about
Oh
sound.
yeah, Joseph.
That's okay.
Joseph.
We'll have to make sure we try and remember all our lurkers.
Oh yeah, we forgot about the lurkers. But Joseph Knowlton says, I have a weather knee and toes. I know that feeling too.
Yeah,
Oh,
there
Ruby's got
was
a
a
weather
time
ankle.
where my knees would hurt really bad, but one day my knees locked up, my right and left knee locked up, made a huge pop and got warm for a minute, and ever since then it hasn't hurt, and it hasn't told me when foul weather was. MJ,
That's
how
cool.
are
Hey,
you?
Thomas,
Lucky
MJ,
Ducky Thomas, folks. How you doing, buddy?
buddy Thomas. Was he
So,
up there? Did you see him this weekend?
no, he didn't come down. I was kind of expecting Thomas. I was kind of because I know Thomas likes going to Cottonwood, and I was kind of
Hmm?
expecting Ben Shears, but they never showed up. But, which okay, but there was a good crowd. Terry Grease Monkey Adventures. He told me during JP's bar. He goes, Ed, try and make it down to Cottonwood for the weekend of the 20th, 21st. It's Candy's birthday. We're meeting down there. And the next thing you know, it kind of snowballed and turned into the first Freedom Fest. And we had Vendetta Prospecting from Arizona, Carson Prospecting from Orange County, California. We had Keith Doty Adventures from New York. We had PA Patriot Prospecting from Pennsylvania. We had Illinois, Ohio. We had Kentucky. Scott Sharp from Tennessee showed up. HD Chevrolet. Gemstone Judy. It was a good showing and a good time. And thanks for having it. Can do. Opening up to everyone. Bill, how you doing, Ohio Relic Hunter?
Yeah, I had a pretty eventful weekend myself.
Flash.
Finally got my lawnmower going, cut grass, weed whacked, did my yard, part of my neighbor's yard because he's too old. So that was my weekend. Oh yeah, and doing some t-shirts and hats for the Yuba.
I
That
know.
was my weekend.
Well, you're doing the order for Dream Mat, right? Up for the Yuba. Make a little
Yeah,
dinero.
yeah, I'm taking some towels with me to take. Doing some
Towels are
towels up.
always a hit. Cow
Yep,
King prospecting.
Cow King.
Run for the Hills Mining, our friend from Massachusetts. Tuck, tell us about your last time out on the river. I'm going to Bath, New Hampshire in a couple weeks. Oh, for the dredge outing. But I want to touch base on that, Tucker. Now
Yep.
you came your name is Prospector Tuck,
Yep.
but do you prospect?
I have never prospected for gold. So,
How'd you
uh,
come up with Prospector Tuck?
yeah. So, I don't know if we want to get into this part of it, but that starts with where I really started metal detecting.
Yeah.
My my grandfather was really into metal detecting, and I started metal detecting as well because he was into it, and he would always call me Prospector. Uh, and that's just where it came from. And when I decided I wanted to make a channel, I said, "Well, I'm Prospector Tuck." But no, I've never prospected for gold.
Well, it
I
sounds like
definitely
you
want to
should.
though, but
Yeah, it sounds like you
that's the
should.
story.
Well, here I'm gonna invite you to an event here in Ohio. I'm not sure what part. Are you on the western side of your state or the eastern?
The Eastern, yeah.
Okay. Well, it'll be a little bit farther drive, but we've had people come from Dubai for Gold Rush days at the Swank West property.
New
Um,
Jersey,
Jersey, New York,
right?
all over, all over,
It's a
California.
fun weekend.
But every year, Labor Day weekend, the GPA Buckeye chapter holds what they call Gold Rush Days at the Swank West lease in between Belleville, Ohio and Butler, Ohio. And if you want to work on another appendage of the treasure hunt in hand, you're more than welcome to come join us there, and we'll get you on the number 2 end of a high banker or the suction nozzle of a dredge. And whatever gold you find, you can add to your poke.
Well, it's very nice of you. Yeah, I'm always looking to add more, and I definitely need someone to teach me because I don't
Well,
know where to look for like
right.
where the deposits would actually be, and then the technique of actually doing it. But yeah, land is
Well,
everything.
that's the thing about prospecting too. You can go online and watch all kinds of videos and read all kinds of books and learn about all the different techniques and methods and what fors and whatnots. But until you actually get out there and do it, you don't really learn. I mean,
Well, that's
you
kind
know,
of
so,
like detecting. You could read
right,
books by
right,
Ram
like
Productions
anything else, right?
or Charles Garrett or whatever on how to use a detector, and unless you get out and use it. Now, what detector do you swing, Tucker?
Yeah, I use the MindLab Equinox 800. I've had it since 2021. Before that, I used the XCal 2. Um, my other grandfather, my mother's father, got me that one because I was really into the beach, like when I was younger. And then
Right.
I was using that on land actually, and still finding great stuff. That was actually I found my first large scent with an XCal 2 on land. Um, and it was fine, but I knew, like, I did a lot of research. Asked a lot of people, what the right machine would be, and I came to the Equinox 800, and I say that I think I have like 1,000 hours with that machine at least. A lot of time with the Equinox.
That's what I swing. Equinox. Jesse has multiple.
And I'm not a detectorist.
No,
I'm
we're
more of a gold.
prospectors, more
Right.
or less.
But you know what's really cool is I'm able to use my metal detectors to help me find gold. My gold monster for finding gold,
Yep.
and my other ones for helping me find, the irons and heavy metals and stuff in and around the water, and find spots to jig. It's heavy stains with heavy. So
Yep.
anything moving down the river or creek or whatever that's heavy tends to gather up with other heavy things going down the river and pretty much land in the same area. So when I can find a spot that has a lot of iron or metal in it, I want to dig there because there could be gold with it. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah,
it's just
Correct me if
another
I'm
another one of those little tricks, right?
Yep. Correct me if I'm wrong. I could have swore I saw something about people finding copper like running through rocks, or the native copper, and finding it with metal detectors and then looking for gold in those places while you're
Why not?
prospecting. Yeah.
Copper's a metal.
Yep.
yeah.
I mean, it picks up your metal detector will pick up a penny. It'll pick up
I've heard of people finding copper float in the Midwest that came
That's the
down
word,
during
float.
the glaciers when our
Yep.
gold came down. Um, like our gold in our area was all deposited by the glacier. We have no natural occurring gold like New England does, or New York or California, Oregon, Arizona, Washington. It's much like Indiana, Illinois, Iowa, parts of Pennsylvania, stuff like that. I believe Eastern PA some might have some natural gold. I don't prospect their tech, so I haven't really done the and like prospecting. Same with treasure hunting, like you do. It's a lot of the battle is. And where do you find gold? Where, everybody? Where do you find gold? Where it's been found already. Where it's
Yep.
been found before. So,
It's funny too because you can even use that same logic with metal detecting because I constantly hear stories about, well, I know this field's been clean, but I got this new detector, and I go in and find all kinds of stuff that people left behind, and I've even done that myself with my different metal detectors to see what one picks up over the other, you know, just for myself, just so I know.
Right.
If I'm in a junk area, then I know which one I want to use.
Yep.
I've only got a couple, 2 or 3, 4, 5. I don't know.
Yep.
But I don't metal detect.
At the end of the day, although I'm not prospecting for gold, I often find that I am prospecting for old things.
Sure.
One of the recent permissions I was on, the barn itself says year 1800. It's an old area. But like I know it's been moved over time with bulldozers and buildings and whatnot. And so I knew the area is old, but I gotta go and I gotta look. I'm just looking for anything old, like anything old, and I could not find a single thing. Like just it must have all been pushed. I looked at old maps, it must have all been pushed around. And so ultimately, even if you're not finding, old coins and old buckles and the stuff we're looking for, you're just looking for anything old, that gold flake, you're looking for a little bit to let you know about,
There's
the rest.
something here.
Right.
Yes, absolutely. Well, like for us, we have things that in the river and in the waterways that show us where the possibility of gold is, because of the nature of gold going down the creek, what it does, where it's trying to get to. And metal detecting is a little different though, because you have things like people moving things.
Yep.
I mean, we know that there's stuff lost everywhere, even where you wouldn't believe anybody's ever been. Someone's lost something there. That's bizarre to me, but awesome too. That's why it does fit that you are a prospector, in a sense that you are looking for that place to find the old things you're looking for, right? I'm starting to sound like Kamala. Holy crap. It's time to find the things that we're looking for this time. Sorry. So yeah, it's so you use what kind of map do you use? Stuff online,
Yeah.
library, do a lot of that.
I think it was the channel Metal Detecting NYC. I saw his video about historicaerials.com,
That's a
and
good place. I like that
that's
too.
that's where I find it. I look for old ball fields typically. Typically their pictures really only go back to the 40s maximum. But even then, you see that little diamond shape, and that field is still a field today. I mean, it's a gold mine, and I've found so many silver coins just from doing that.
Yeah, the first time I used that aerial photography, I found a couple of cellar holes out in the middle of someplace, you wouldn't think
Yep.
it was anything. It was old. I didn't really metal detect it much because I didn't have it. My metal detector, I wasn't really into it all that much at all. I was just looking for places to prospect around, because like we're in a glacial till area. A lot of glacial movements happen through here. So I mean, we find big boulders with coarse veins running through them that don't belong here. So I was out scouting around. I used that aerial photography, and I found a spot that showed 2 squares. And I'd been to that spot. And I'm going, well, it's first of all, it's a little island off the river. It's actually, I mean, it's a piece of ground that a little creek cuts in behind and goes right back out. So it cut a little island right there, right? But as I'm looking at the aerial, I see there's 2 little squares on it. Well, I knew that meant there was some kind of buildings there. Didn't know what. And I'd been out there and I hadn't seen anything like that before. So I went back out there and I tried to coordinate myself to it, and I found the 2 cellar holes. I found two cellar holes, a well, and a graveyard in that
Wow.
spot. Yeah. Yeah.
Any
That was weird.
any bottles in those cellar holes?
I didn't really, like I said, I was just excited about being able to find them. And I really wasn't in the metal detecting that much at all. I was just exploring,
Yeah.
just I like to do that just for no reason other than to explore sometimes.
Yep.
Can I find where these 2 places were? So that's what my goal was. And I found that plus, the graveyard was a trip. And And I'll tell you why the graveyard was a trip for me, because I researched it, and yeah, that was a graveyard. It's in the registry. The names and everybody that was there.
Wow.
Great. But yeah, I do like that program on.
Yeah. It's
on that.
definitely a really good website. People ask all the time, where do you find these places? That's really where. And as we've been talking about this whole time now, it's all about the location. You can have the best metal detector, the best gold panning technique, the best
Right.
dredge you've got. If it's not there, it's not there.
Yes, David, curious Jesse. Ask my wife, she'll tell you. Why are you going down this road? Oh, I don't know. Looks like a good place to go. Like a fun road to go down.
No, you're lost. Tell them the truth. You don't know where the heck you're going. You don't want to admit it.
Don't listen to her. Don't listen to her. She's not on this show.
Oh,
But yeah, it's so you got me off track. She did that on purpose, you guys.
Okay, GoPro Unlimited, ask Prospector Tech if he has to get permission on those spots.
Yeah. So I really took advantage of public land, especially in like near the beginning of my channel. So I explain this to my viewers all the time. So first you find the place, right? Historicareals.com, then you see who owns the land. You're hoping it's public, ultimately, like a public park. Then you look at the ordinances of that, typically township, but it could be state. If it's state, it's going to be tougher. But if it's like a township or something, you look at their ordinances and make sure there's no rule against metal detecting and no rule against cutting sod. If those two things are true, then you're assuming it's legal. And as Ed mentioned in the beginning, I'm serious on my channel about cutting nice plugs, about leaving it how you left it, because the more we do that as treasure hunters and metal detectorists, the more we're going to be allowed to do these things. And so it's on all of us to leave it how we found it and be respectful. And so public land, making sure there's no rules against it. And then when it comes to private land, making sure typically it's like connections you have, someone, they know someone. That's how I get nearly every private permission I have. And then some of them I'm there by permit. I apply to the state or the city or whoever has the permit system, and I pay for it. And typically then I give back the historic relics that I find at those places. I was on a Revolutionary War farm campsite. There was activity in the area. And so all the old stuff I found, I gave back to who owned that property. That was a really cool experience. Found a lot of awesome stuff there. So
you brought up a good point, Tucker.
Yep.
Like I've said many of times, even if you're a YouTuber or if you're an influencer or not, generally being in our lifestyles, those who don't will look at you. So we all become ambassadors of our lifestyle. Doesn't matter lifestyle, hobby. It doesn't matter which finger of the treasure hunting hand you belong to. We do become an ambassador to that hobby, that recreational sport, lifestyle, I fondly call it. But I definitely agree with you. And don't say, oh, can I dig holes in your yard, dude? No. It's more like, mind if I detect and look for lost items and artifacts, and
I mean, it is true that
cut a plug.
Yeah,
Holes
it
is
is
kind
true
of a
that,
4-letter word, isn't it, Tucker?
yeah, it,
It-
it, it is true that we represent a community that has a tarnished reputation because of for the prospectors back in the in the during the gold rush. Some of the mining methods were not the best, so that didn't help. Metal detectorists have been known to dig holes and leave them. They're well, and then other treasure hunters leaving a bad taste in other people's mouths because they're not representing what they do in a good light. So it's really up to us, especially nowadays, with the advent of all this video. Excuse me. You can't get away with doing anything anymore without somebody videoing you somewhere, sometime, right? So
Yeah.
the more that we can show, like what we push, cleaning up the area, reclaiming when you need to, pulling out more trash than you took in, that kind of stuff, I feel is really important to show people who are watching our videos. Get
Yep.
everybody in the habit, right?
Yeah. And, as my channel has grown, it's become more and more important. In the beginning, I was really just showing my finds. It was
Sure.
still similar. And as I was talking about earlier about like algorithms and stuff, in the beginning, I was much, much shorter, like 15-second, 20-second videos. Now on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, they're like a minute or so. I like to tell a little bit more of a story, but like especially now, I have over 400,000 followers on TikTok. I can't, you know, I can't afford to let people think you can just go out and dig and screw up, a public park. And so in
Right.
nearly every single one of my metal detecting videos, I say, this is how I cut the plug. This is how I put it back every time. Like that's how I start the video and that's how I end it because at the end of the day, it is just my channel, but it's also bigger than myself. It's the hobby
Right.
itself, and we
Right.
want it to be
Absolutely.
as healthy as it can
Absolutely.
be.
Actually, interesting fact about your TikTok page, Tucker. I believe it was 433.5 thousand followers.
Yep. I've been doing it since March of 2021. And actually my and so here's a little story about that. So I started my YouTube channel in, I think it was August of 2020 before I went off to school. I go to Penn State. That was my going into freshman year at Penn State. And it was the COVID lockdown. And so there was no in-person classes. And I hated just sitting in my dorm all day. So I didn't go back the second semester and I started Prospector Tuck, the TikTok channel, as an attempt to grow my YouTube. I had like 50 subs on YouTube. And I said, I want more people to come and watch my long form YouTube videos because at the end of the day, the longer videos are more of my passion and I like editing them and I like telling the
Right.
story and giving the history and, sharing my knowledge about coins. It's less, flashy 20 seconds and more, I'm talking about what I know and what I'm really passionate about. And so I started the TikTok, and the first video I ever posted had 700,000 views on it, like in the first couple days. And I had, the most views I had was maybe 30 on YouTube at that point. And it just completely blew me away, the potential of that place. And so that's when I really started focusing on that. Obviously, I've grown my YouTube since then, but it's really been just shorts, the TikToks I put onto YouTube, and that grows the YouTube as well. But yeah, as I said, one day I want to get back into making longer videos on YouTube because at the end of the day, that is my passion. I'm a little more passionate about that than maybe the
About
short.
the video and the editing part.
Yeah.
That's more what you're into, but you're using metal detecting. Not that you're not into metal detecting, but you're using that as a vehicle to get your YouTube, right?
Yep. And you know, TikTok has come out with much better monetization. And at the end of the day, I really don't need my YouTube to do well. It's just cool, to have another platform, something to post. And at the end of the day, it's somewhere I can post longer videos. But yeah, I'm starting to make my TikToks longer, so to speak, so that I can kind of give that story, history. Typically, when I find something, I show like a non-Doug example or give a little bit of history about it or what I think it might be, which is what I would be doing in a longer video.
So how long are TikTok videos? How long can you make them?
I think they've actually increased it to up to 10 minutes now.
Yeah,
really?
I got a notice where I can make up to 10-minute videos, but I don't on TikTok. 30 seconds max, I do. Trying to stay
Yeah,
around
I meant on
15
TikTok.
seconds.
That's what I meant on TikTok. You can do 10 minutes on TikTok?
You can, although I don't see them come up. Like if we get into algorithm talk, like the algorithm doesn't like
Uh-huh.
videos that long. I would say like maximum 3 minute range is like what really TikTok is. But yeah, I think I've seen a shift in TikTok from the really short videos of the past to like around the minute, 2 minute range of like the solid post length, so to speak, on there.
Oh, a little bit of tidbit of information for you about monetization. Out of the three, Facebook, well, four, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Now that YouTube is monetizing shorts, they pay the best out of the four.
I um I just started my Facebook page about 2 weeks ago, or I had started it months ago, but I really just started posting. And I posted one of my bottle digging videos, and it has nearly 20 million views on it now on Facebook. I really don't know how the app works, but there's no monetization that I can find on the app. So I'm just 20 million views pretty much down the drain at this point. I get, there's the exposure, I guess, but I have not figured out how to monetize Facebook at this point.
You'll get there eventually. It's all a marathon, right, Tucker? It don't happen overnight. At least not for me.
Right.
I'm Irish, so I don't have.
Saw a question here a minute ago.
Peek up. My mic's all the way up. Is that better, David?
Yes. You were getting a little low there. Alice in
Kurt, how
Wonderland
you
says,
doing, Secret Creek?
Alice in Wonderland says, sometimes 3 minutes is enough.
Yeah.
I've never heard her say that.
Ta-da. Jesse throwing out his into windows now.
Kirk. So you said you went bottle digging. What other stuff have you done so far? You want to do prospecting. You haven't done it yet.
Yeah. I actually recently tried magnet fishing. I found absolutely nothing. So
too.
I don't know what the deal is. I don't know if my magnet isn't strong enough. I don't know if I'm in the wrong place.
No, from what I understand, you just got to keep hunting and find that dirty river. That's what the Vixens told us. Just got to find. She said one of the good signs is a graffitied bridge. Graffitied bridge typically means there's a bunch of kids hanging out there at night, partying and having a good time, throwing stuff over the edge, stolen bikes or whatever, just throwing stuff over the side. So graffitied bridges.
Okay. Yeah,
and dirty cities, I guess.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
didn't have any luck when I went, but I've tried.
yeah, my wife and I went out one day. We were looking all over, went up and down over bridges and stuff. We hit 4 or 5 different places and nothing. Everything was clean, you know. And then we found one that had some trash in it, so it was fun for a little while. It's a lot of driving. That's the thing, a lot of driving.
Yep.
You know, it's that same thing with everything else. Whatever you're doing, you got to do the research. I mean, the I know the treasure vixens when they were on here talking to them about it. They spent hours and hours mapping out, looking at creeks and bridges and stuff, and trying to figure out what's going to be.
Using Google Earth.
Yeah, using Google Earth, what's going to be a good spot, what, things like that. So yeah, it's nothing's easy, is it?
Nope.
Hell, I think you did better that day than I did. You caught a signpost.
I know.
So what's your favorite find so far,
That's
Doctor?
that's a tough question. So I really like coins. Um, my my grandfather, my mother's father was into coins. He taught me all about coins, gave me his coin collection. So I know a lot about him, know a lot about the date ranges, all that kind of stuff. And that's really why I got into metal detecting, because I saw my other grandfather, my dad's grandfather, who was metal detecting, finding all these awesome old coins. I said, well, I want to find old coins like that. And so as a kid, that's what I wanted to do. I was probably 8, 9, 10 years old, in that range when I started, and I got really into it over the pandemic. But anyways, the best coin I found was an 1854 seated quarter with arrows. And not only was it that, but it was in like gorgeous condition. Looked like it was just minted. Uh, and so that was a really, really cool find. Um, Maybe best story and perhaps most valuable. I found a huge gold class ring. It was in a public park, and I was actually live streaming while I found it. Um, and it had the initials in it. It had the date. It had the school, and I contacted the school with the date and the initials, and they got me in contact with the lady who lost it, and I gave it to her. So
Cool.
Nice.
that was a cool story. Yeah, that one's pinned to the top of my TikTok. It's huge. I mean, massive. So that was really fun to find, and then able to give it back. That was a good story.
So have you had people come up to you and ask you to find stuff for them? Hey, I lost the ring here, or I lost.
I've never been successful. I was in a
Sucks.
park, I don't know. I sometimes I feel like people will do that in case you find something. Just
Oh,
my cynical
trolling
head.
you?
Yeah, like I lost a ring in this park. Let me know if you find one. Like, sometimes I don't know, but I have, looked in a park before for someone. I've never been able to return anything that I was told someone lost, but I was
Right.
able to return that one. So
So what's something, I mean, that you want to try next?
um I
Well, we
really
know you want to pan for gold. Besides that,
really what I want to do is, it's always like in my position where I am, it's always about finding the next place to metal detect. Um, I know we're talking about newer things. I'm trying the magnet fishing. I'll get back into it. I'll find a better place, but really it's just finding new permissions, new places to go, to stream, to make videos. Because really I see a direct correlation between me finding good things and being in really old cool places, and how many views I get and followers I get. And ultimately this is my job, at least this summer.
right?
And so it's tough. I just the other day I went out there, I was digging for 4 straight hours in the hot sun, and I found nothing. And so I don't have a video that day. Like that's part of doing this. You know.
Right.
it's always about finding that next place. And so, old colonial farms, even post-colonial 1800s, like that's where it's at. And I'm always looking for the next one.
So, is YouTube or your TikTok or let me rephrase this. Are your videos something that you're planning on, trying to make a living at?
Well, at this point, it's not to the level I could make a living off of it.
Uh-huh. I
I
mean, is that
work,
something you're striving for, hopefully?
that would be the dream
Uh-huh.
ultimately. I'm nearing that point, I would say. But yeah, as of now, I'm still probably gonna just be looking to work in like social media industry type stuff. I don't know if you're familiar with vidIQ. I
Yes.
definitely used vidIQ. I actually worked for vidIQ as an intern last summer. Um,
Cool.
so I'm in that industry, but ultimately I would love to be able to do this full time. And I'm lucky that TikTok has changed their monetization. Because I'm actually making a fair amount of money just from posting. And then I would make money from like live stream donations and things like that. But yeah, I see Thomas in the chat. It's all our dream, right? Um, and so what I was getting at is I know that ultimately the way to make a full-time living out of social media is starting your own sort of business, something like that. And so very soon I am launching prospectortuck.com, and I will be selling metal detectors and treasure hunting equipment soon. It's not live just yet. My order from the distributor is getting here, but I'm an official Mind Lab dealer, an official Garrett dealer,
Nice.
working the others now. But that's what I'm going towards. So many people ask, like, where do you get your machines? And so now it's going to be me.
From me.
Yeah. So,
They say you just get a hold of me. I got you covered.
yep.
That's cool. So you'll have an online store
Yep.
with all the accessories and
Mm-hmm.
EK methods.
Now, will
Shovels,
you
pinpointers,
do
bags.
like events? Have you thought about events?
Um, again, I'm kind of like wary about meeting people in public and like, you know, maybe at some point when I'm big enough and I know like it can be very like safe and like, but at this point I don't personally I don't think I'm big enough to make like monetary sense and have enough people come out and you know I'm also still in school, so I for most of the year I'm at Penn State, I'm in state college, and then like during the summers and during the breaks I come back and I'm Prospector Tuck again.
Right.
There's really just no old land out there. I've tried many times. Like there's no content to be had when I'm at school, and I really can't do much about it. I can repost content, but there's not much I can really do. So as of now, I'm still not full bore into this. But soon.
We got to finish your school.
Yeah.
All right, that's understandable for sure. To get out of there and get into the real life.
Yep.
Um, have you tried about this? Have you tried metal detecting in the school? Have they?
I have not. Um, I don't know. I guess
I
I
would
should.
love to go around the old buildings.
So there are a lot of old buildings,
Right.
but you know, there are so many people like, with metal detecting that, there's eras of trash and stuff built up. And so, for example, this 1800s farm I just got access to and then realized, well, everything's been, you know, bulldozed, fill dirt, what have you. I really don't know if all the area around it has been moved. I feel like it had to have been at this point. So I think I was planning on asking someone there I don't really know even who, but to get access to that land and just give it a shot. But
maybe the
with so
history
many-
department or
Yeah.
one of those, somebody that would be into the kind of stuff that you would find. You know, might start a club.
I
Start
was
with
thinking
the
of doing that.
dean and maybe the maintenance department.
Yep.
So-
I was actually doing volunteer work on campus. I was
There
like
you go.
spreading mulch or something, and the head of of that department came up to me and said, "Do you want a job here?" Because apparently I was doing it so good. I declined, but yeah. So I know who that is. So we'll see. But that is something I want to try. Ultimately, though, again, there's so many people just like on that land, even modern day. And I'm looking for stuff from, when those buildings were built, the 1800s. We think about, if we consider everything from the 70s and on, that isn't like a gold ring, trash, so to speak. Like that is decades and decades of people. And so like, even if I
Hey,
got
man,
access, it would be
70s
tough.
enough is trash. I'm trash. but yeah, even though you have to dig some of that more modern trash, it seems like it would be a really cool project for one of the clubs there, one of the, I don't know what kind of classes they have there at Penn. But I don't see why, I don't know, make it a project. I bet they'd let you do something.
Yeah.
You never know.
You never know.
Right. All they can do is say no, right?
I see a comment from Campsite 419. Do informative videos from school, gear reviews, talk about gear. That is definitely something I want to
Yep.
get into. Especially because like I get those questions all the time.
Right.
And also I've been thinking about how, I have my website. So I used to be, I still am an affiliate for Kellyco. So I would sell detectors through there. And so I would explain, on stream in my videos, this is the machine for you and this is why, and then I would get the commission off of that. But I want to, on my own website, have my own videos talking about like, this is the Equinox 800 and like, this is why you should have this machine. This is the benefits. This is how you set it up. These are the little nuances of the machine. And so I want to make videos for my website. And so that's definitely something I want to get into, Campsite.
Yeah. We started talking about, the school trying to get into the school, the metal detector property, because it's such an old place, right?
Yeah.
It brings me to mind of Dan Hurd, who was a teacher up in Canada, who he was a shop teacher, started teaching his class how to prospect for gold, teaching them how to make equipment. That actually wound up to be a course at the school that he was teaching. And now he's out, he's got his own mind and stuff. I don't think he's teaching anymore.
No, he
But,
does YouTube full time, and he's at 1 million.
Yeah, he's doing
subscribers.
YouTube. He's strictly prospecting and mining for gold. But he started off in his school, just, them letting him teach about building some equipment, letting them teach about how to use the equipment, actually made a curriculum out of it, and it went off pretty good. He said he had lots of kids coming and joining, right? I can see a possibility of you getting something like that involved with the school, and it would just take a half dozen or so your classmates to go,
Definitely
hey, I want to
talk
do that,
to, like the local historical society and
right?
the history
Yep.
department on campus, and I
Take a break, but don't go far. Gold fever's burning like a shooting star. grab a snack, stretch it out. Still more stories to talk about. Shovels in the dirt, pickaxes high, treasures waiting, reach for the sky. Tuesday night, Hangout Live, don't go away. We'll be back real soon, there's more to say. Legends of gold, secrets untold. The hunt's not over, there's more to unfold. From lost mines to rivers wide, prospectors digging side by side. Old time stories, brand new finds, gold and treasure, history shines. Shovels in the dirt, pickaxes high, treasures waiting, reach for the sky. Tuesday night, Hangout Live, don't go away. We'll be back real soon, there's more to say. Legends of gold, secrets untold. The hunt's not over, there's more to unfold.
I'm sure they'd give you a big green flag, especially if you're willing to let the artifacts go back to
Oh,
the
definitely.
campus.
Yep. And I'm
So-
all about that. You know, ultimately,
Right.
there's kind of a back and forth between whether or not what I'm doing as a metal detectorist is right or wrong, and whether it should be a true archaeologist or not doing these things. And I mean, at the end of the day, if you've got permission from the person who owns the land and you're willing to give it back, there's really nothing that should be wrong with it. You know, especially if the historical society is involved. Again, that's what I did with that Revwar farm, and I was so happy to do it. I mean, you know, I'm finding a seam cast button that is like surely worn by a Revolutionary War soldier. Like, I don't care that I'm giving it back. I just got to find this thing.
You got to do what 99% of the people out here are talk about, and that's the adventure of the hunt. So
Yep.
You're hunting, you find it. Okay, that adventure is over. It's time for something else. And you know, so yeah, I just think that that the school might be open to something like that. I don't know, especially if you can present it in a academic way to them, you know, and it doesn't cost them. Those are the things that are important, I guess. So, and you let girls in. I want to get back. I want to ask you about. We were talking earlier about research, right? And how you're using the uh, architectural aerial photos, that site.
Yep.
Have you looked into LiDAR?
No, I have not. I've heard of it though.
LiDAR would be awesome because it would help you find cellar holes. It would help you find old foundations that are covered up, but you know, you really can't see them. I mean, you can stand there and look at it and you see a little hill in the field there, but you really can't tell what it is. And with LiDAR, you can look down at it and figure out that it's the foundation to a building. It's the foundation to this. It's a part of a wall. There's the rest of it going up the hill.
Yeah.
You know, whatever, you know. But LiDAR is really cool. I've been watching people using LiDAR for a while now.
Professor
and I guess
Wagner on Facebook is really into LiDAR, and he's a metal detectorist from Connecticut. Tucker, and check out a fellow from PA. He's a geologist, Matt, prospecting geologist. He goes through great length on LiDAR and the same principles that he uses for prospecting, finding old mines and stuff, can be used the same way for what you do. You know, old dumps, old basement, cellar holes, wells, or privy. If you're
That's
into
just
digging
that's
privy.
a modern tool for finding old things.
Yeah, GoPro, I know he uses CalTopo app a lot.
Yep.
I actually used it a lot this weekend, actually.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah. How'd you find it? I mean, did you like it?
Yeah, I just used it kind of like a GPS in a way. I marked the northern boundary, I marked the southern boundary. I stripped all the vegetation so it was like LiDAR. I have the free version, so
Right.
there's a setting you could use that almost works identical to LiDAR. And then I looked for the anomalies that I wanted to and went from there. But I just pretty much used it to do waypoints where I wanted to test where I was, where I went, and the boundary. So, but still using it, still getting to learn it.
Let's welcome a few people that just come in, like
HD
somewhere in Ohio.
Shovelhead, good to see you and
HD,
Judy.
the other Ed, what's up, buddy?
I met somewhere in Ohio today or over the
Did you?
weekend, and
Cool.
PA
Patriot
Patriot
Prospecting.
Prospecting. I
Welcome.
met him and his wife. Robert
Cool.
Dupati, how are you doing? He had
Hey, Robert.
another gold gram dredging day, a gram of gold dredging day today.
He's a dredger.
Oh yeah,
He sucks big
hardcore.
time.
Yeah, he dredges up a storm, but he's out there getting it.
Well,
Yeah,
that's the only way you'll get it. Get out there and get it, because
that's
it ain't
right.
coming to you.
That's right.
So you say you like coins, but is that your what you would consider your specialty is coins?
Yeah, definitely.
So is there a coin that's in your, well, let's call it your white elephant, the one you haven't been able to find yet that you've been looking for?
Yeah. It is the Real. I still have not found Spanish silver. I found other colonials. My oldest was KG2 halfpenny. It was actually in gorgeous condition. It was a 1736. It was counter stamped too. It was an awesome coin. But I have never found a Spanish silver. And I know whoever had that KG2 in their pocket probably had a Spanish silver. So that's my whale.
Yeah, that's the thing that gets you too, is because you know they're there.
Yep.
You know they're there. Just where's mine?
You'll get that off your bucket list before too long.
Yep.
Tucker. We're all rooting for you.
Bebo Gold Adventures. What's up?
Where do you now what was your scariest situation ever out treasure hunt?
Well, so I don't want to get into the specifics because I don't want people to try to do similar things. I will talk about a crazy Karen story though. I was
like crazy Karens.
I was metal detecting in a public park, and like I could tell this lady was pissed that I was there, but like I didn't, you just gotta keep doing what you're doing, because it's legal and you're allowed to be there, and they don't own the park. And so I could tell she was not happy, but whatever. And she starts just filming me, just
Think
phone
they own
out.
the park.
Say again.
They think they own the park.
Yeah, they think they own
Yeah.
it, but so
Yeah.
she just starts filming me, and I just let it go. I'm streaming, by the way, so I have my sisters filming me as I'm metal detecting. So we're like, this crazy lady's just filming us. And then her child comes over and says like, Mom, what are you doing? And she says, I'm filming them, and is just filming. And like the kid is like, what are you doing? Like even this young kid can realize like his mom is being a weirdo right now. And I just kept doing what I was doing, and she eventually stopped. But that was a funny story because the
I
little
bet.
kid could tell, like, Mom, what are you doing right now?
Wow.
So that was funny.
So, I mean, here's a you're on YouTube, you're on TikTok. Have you had anybody come up to you and say, I know who you are, and be like they know your entire life, know everything about you? And I can understand why that can be scary, but
Yeah.
again, you're putting yourself out there. You're gonna have to expect that.
Absolutely. Interactions like that are great. Like when something like that happens, I like it makes my day.
Right.
I don't like when like weirdos will just take a picture of me without like saying anything, or like, come on, like like I'm a person. But it was actually an international student in one of my classes, and he comes up to me and he says, "Are you an influencer?" And I said, I am. And he's like, I love your videos. And it just made my day. And it was the first day of class. And I ended up sitting next to him the whole semester. And that was awesome. So that was my best interaction. I was so happy. Like it made my day, made my semester, because every day I went and I
Sure.
sat next to this kid, and like it was
And he talked to you about your videos.
yeah. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, and that's something that people have to understand, because there are people out there that are just that will definitely freak out if you walk up on them. Especially if they're taping or streaming or even just recording themselves, and you know who they are, and you go, "Oh, I know who they is. I want to go say hi to them." And they freak out on you. If you're gonna be that way, you need to not put yourself out there. That's all I got to say about that. If you're that freaked out about people approaching you, you need to not put your face out there. No, you really can't even put your voice out there, because people recognize the voice. I've been recognized by my voice. Has been recognized by his voice. So it's not just
Jesse
them
was
seeing.
at the Crater of Diamonds
And I
of
was
all
states
places,
away.
and I was in Menards. And we're
So yeah,
we're
that's
just
something you got to deal with all
fry.
the time.
Small fry.
Yep.
Just beware of the Karens.
Yeah.
There's plenty of them out there.
Oh yeah. They come in more than one gender.
Yes, they do.
Karens and Kevins. Ruby.
Yeah.
Yep, Karens and Kevins. I'm trying. I've been trying.
I thought it was
Against any
Kens.
Karens or Kevins out there, mind you, everybody. Just you.
It's just the Karens and Kevins.
Just the Karens and Kevins.
So, okay. What do you want to talk about? We talked about your future endeavors with getting some merchandise out and getting some more
website.
YouTube videos out and stuff. We touched on about people recognizing you.
Are you hooking up with a sales company that for metal detectors? Are you doing that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Mind Lab,
Yeah.
and who else?
I'm an official Mind Lab and Garrett dealer.
And Garrett.
I don't.
Awesome.
I've never used a Deus or like a Simplex, so like it just made more sense for me, at least when I'm starting, to be with Mind Lab and Garrett, because I use that pinpointer all the
Right.
time. I tell people get that pinpointer. I use Mind Lab. I tell people get that metal detector. And so ultimately, when I was really selling for Kellyco, I was selling those, like the things that I'm using. That's what people wanted to buy, because I can speak to having thousands of hours of experience with
Right.
them and say, this is what, this is how this works. This little nuance that you're not going to read in a manual, and so ultimately those are the companies I work with right now, but I'm not opposed to working with, XP.
But it's always easier to sell something that you know.
Yep.
You know.
And that's where, yeah. So it's just a starting point, but
Yeah, right.
Yep.
So now, I don't know if you're
So is
watching
it
the
gonna
chat
be
room.
teaching videos on
I-
how to use them? or-
Yeah. I don't know if you're watching the chat room, but they're calling for some treasure porn. David Villa is going nuts over there with his.
I'm really surprised GoPro Unlimited hasn't really chimed in more.
So
about it.
what he's got for you guys is some of your favorite coins, right?
Yep. So this display is actually all of the silver coins I found in 2021. In the middle are two capped bust dimes. So the one is in 1829. That was my first capped bust. It's in beautiful condition. It's going to be hard for the camera to see fully, but
For us that don't know coins, what's a cat bust?
so the United States started minting silver coins in 1792. They went
Okay.
from flowing hair. So we're talking about like the design of Lady Liberty.
All right.
Flowing hair, draped bust, and then capped bust. If I'm missing one, correct me, coin people out there. But so it was a very, very early silver coin. Only about 500,000 were minted. And then my next capped bust was an 1830 dime. So along with those, there's some half dollars, some quarters. It's gonna be tough for the camera to see fully, but
Okay, back up.
Tilt it back to your right there. Okay, now you can move it around.
Walking Liberties, a lot of Mercuries,
and
some
so
barbers, some silver quarters, silver dimes. Sorry, Jeff, no Morgans in that one.
no Morgans. That I do need to find a silver dollar. That's another one. But for now, my the top of my bucket list is a Spanish silver, colonial silver.
GoPro Unlimited's like, work it, work it.
Some of our guys in here get carried away with the treasure porn. They just get too excited.
Now, do you ever come across any like native artifacts in your ventures?
I've found some like some chips that I think are native, but never a no doubter, let's say. So I guess that's like another area that I could get into, because I'm not like not an expert.
When you're talking about chips, are you talking about just like a flake or a
Yeah.
piece of something that's been worked?
Well, like I think they're worked, and like they're not complete. It's just like when I'm digging and I see a rock that just looks worked, like I hold on to it. But I've never gone like in a creek looking for them, or I've never found one. And then this is another display I have. Most of this also was from 2021, some from 2020, but in the middle was my first colonial coin that I found, and I'm pretty sure it's a counterfeit. KG2 would be a contemporary counterfeit. It's got the very bronze look, but around it I have some other large cents and big coppers, some smaller coppers there too, like buffalo nickels and stuff. But up until I found that KG2, my 1818 matron was like absolutely beautiful coin. That was one of my favorites I had found.
Now,
I've never gotten into coins myself. I find coins all the time, but I've just never got into collecting them.
and I personally collect.
I always spent my money.
I collect tokens and foreign coins that I like, mostly South American, Mexican. But now, what's your favorite type of hunting? Woods, fields, yards.
Yeah. It's got to be yards. Fields are nice because you don't really need to worry about digging super nice plugs. You still got to fill them in. The woods just like bother me, like how many little saplings and like I always like bring the sniper coil when I go. Like it's just tough to really get far down. All
Digging
that
through
stuff.
roots.
Digging through roots. It's just like a pain. But a nice lawn from a house that you can see the stonework, you can see its stone foundation, like you're in an old spot and you're in the lawn. Like you can't, you can't beat that in my opinion.
Right. So one of the people that I've watched in the past has been Aqua Jigger.
Yep.
Do you ever see his video where he explains about how to read the property?
Referring to the like the foundation, like looking at
Right,
the
where old buildings might have been at one time and things like that. He did a video a while back where he explains the things that he sees in a yard where a building used to be at one time, where this was at one time.
Yep. You can ask anyone who's close to me when I'm like driving through an area, or especially if I'm the passenger in a car and I'm going past and I'm like, that's an old house. That's an old house. That's an old house. Like I wish I could metal detect there. I'm just like
It's like us.
Yeah.
Yeah, like us going over a creek and looking over the bridge there and looking at the water and going, oh, look, there's a sandbar. That looks like a good spot. That looks like a good spot.
Yep.
What would be your best advice on asking permission?
Yeah. So again, I mostly rely on public land, permitted places. Nearly all of my private permissions have been like I know someone who knows someone.
Right.
I don't think I've ever just like cold call knocked on someone's door. I know that that's what a lot of people do. Maybe I just haven't built up the courage yet, or I don't
That's
know.
probably got to be the hardest way too.
Yeah. Um, I've actually tried to leave letters like, here's my email and number, here's who I am. Never gotten a response that way. So, you know, uh, I don't know. Maybe someday, and I probably will have to, given, I need content, I need things to post. Um, but yeah, I'm a big fan of the Hoover Boys on YouTube. They really, I mean, really, I think I've watched every single one of their videos. And I would attribute a lot of my like just knowledge about this kind of stuff. And like when I find something, I know what it is, and um all that kind of stuff, to watching that channel. And then that's really when I decided, okay, I want the Equinox. I want to take this seriously, because I was just so into watching YouTube channels. Not just the Hoover Boys, but that's just one example of one that I was really into.
Hoover Boys is a good channel, though.
Yeah.
Yep.
Along with like Green Mountain Metal Detecting.
Yep.
Oh, these are so many out there. So many good ones.
Is there
couple
is
that you
there
might be familiar with, Relics Recoverist
Yep.
or Naughty
Quarter
Dog Treasures, Quarter
Hoarder
Hoarder.
order? Yep.
There was Square Nail Squirrel was an old one I used to watch. I don't know if he posts anymore, but he was really good with the equinox and taught like teaching about the equinox, like as he was doing it, like this is the signal and like this is what it sounds like. And I
I
appreciated those.
actually think he's still around. Yeah.
Is he?
Yeah. I thought I saw him last weekend on the chat room
Okay.
during Detectorist Friends of Mine live stream.
So is there any place in the world that you'd love to go metal detect?
Yeah. I get that question a lot, and really it's pretty much right here. Like just
I'm with you, dude.
old colonial farms in America. Because like I'm into American history, American coins, colonial history, colonial coins. Like that's what I want to find, really. And so like, put me on I guess the dream would be like a late 1500s, 1600s pre-colonial farm would be like the best place ever for me to metal detect in the world. So
I mean, I'd love to go metal detect for gold in Australia or prospect for gold in Alaska, but dude, I'm pretty happy here being just in the lower 48. I can
Yep.
travel around a bit, and this country's so beautiful, anyways. I've traveled this country. I know what it looks like all over, and it's just so beautiful here, everywhere. Most everywhere.
Mary Jane in real life from Washington State has a comment, Tucker. I found this community somewhat recently, and I absolutely love this community. We love you too, and
Yep. It's very positive. I'm so happy. I remember just watching, I didn't post. I would just watch all these people find these things, and I said, listen, I think I can do this. And here I am.
there you go.
What the heck was that?
What the hell was that?
I have no idea.
What do you do?
Oh, some excitement at the ToledoJess house.
Let's see. Any more questions? Got any questions from the chat room here? You guys got any questions?
Questions? I don't know when the
Oh, that's
Toda's name farm to market. Joseph is talking about his farm. Car wreck, Ed. That could be on Jesse's highway. Jesse's.
So are you getting younger people involved in doing what you're doing?
Yeah, I would say so. So TikTok, I guess you could say, does lend itself to a younger audience,
yeah.
but
Mhm.
ultimately its algorithm is so good that like it is mostly older people who watch me even on TikTok.
Really.
So yeah, absolutely. And so, there's nothing wrong with that. But when I'm live streaming, especially, it might not be the videos that get pushed to young people as much, but like especially when I'm live streaming on TikTok, like, I know there's kids watching. I never curse. I keep it very family friendly. And I just like in my videos, I like reiterate, this is how you're supposed to do this. You're asking permission, you're making sure it's legal where you are.
Right.
If it's a permit, you're giving back historical artifacts, and most importantly, you're digging and leaving it how you found it. That's it. And so, as we talked about earlier, I'm not just, I'm not just Prospector Tuck. I'm also now a steward of the hobby, and I need to make sure that I'm putting out a good message for people young and old.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one of our goals here too, is to get young people involved in the treasure hunting community, because it's there's a lot of advantages to it. First, being outdoors, that
Yep.
alone is just like number one. Get them out of the house, get them away from the boob tube, get them outdoors, being outside, and then getting some exercise while you're at it. You know,
Yep.
It doesn't seem like you're doing a lot when you're out there doing that. I mean, it doesn't seem like you're doing a lot of hard work, but at the end of the day, you realize, man, I did a full day's worth of work here, and it had nothing but fun. So yeah,
Yep.
that's the thing. We, like Ed and I, we take whenever we can. We do Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts and things like that. We do demonstrations for them, teach them how to pan, how to look for gold, stuff like that. And I know some of the other metal detectorists. I know that Jocelyn, she does that. She has a program where she gives metal detectors away to kids, and that's we all need to support that from the rest of the community whenever you can, right?
Yep. Absolutely. Um, I noticed it the other day. I was out. I mentioned I dug for 4 hours and really just found like modern change. That I was beat after that day. It was like hot sun, like tough day. But as
Right.
I'm leaving, like there was like no one else in the park except this one guy. He's sitting on his truck bed and he's piloting a like RC plane. And I'm
Right.
like, me and you, like we were doing something, at least we're outside enjoying our hobby. you know?
Exactly. Doing
And
something, right?
that was pretty cool. Like, I'm out here metal detecting, you're flying your RC plane, like, you're doing something. You're going outside and, getting
Yeah.
active.
Here's a suggestion that I just, I don't know. You're out metal detecting, wouldn't be a bad idea to carry a spare one. In case some kid comes by, says, "What are you doing?" "Well, I'm metal
Yep.
detecting." "Oh, what are you finding?" How do you do that?" "Well, let me show you. I got one here for you. You can learn. Of course, you want to make sure the parents are there to be
Yeah.
there. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But that's an opportunity, that's an opportunity to teach a young kid or young person how to metal detect, give them something to do. I don't
Yep.
know. Those are the kinds of things that I think about.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, I'm old. I don't have, my thoughts are run weird. I just think that it's a hobby and a lifestyle that lends itself to good more than bad. So then if you can push that on to, well, I didn't push, but if you can teach younger,
Encourage.
okay, if you can encourage the young people to be more involved in it, it can't hurt. It just
Yeah.
can't hurt, you know? I mean,
Absolutely.
you run into an 8-year-old kid today, you're out metal detector, and you got an extra one, you show him how to metal detect, 10 years from now, he'll look back and go, damn, that Tucker. He
Yep.
taught me how to do this, and look at me now. I am what I am because he taught me this.
Yep. I get comments all the time. Like, watching with my son or watching with my kids,
Right.
So I know there's very young people who watch, and that's why I stay very family friendly, and
Right.
I explain everything as much as I can. At the end of the day, you know, when you're being informative, you don't talk down, you just say
Right.
what it is, and kids
Right.
get it.
Right.
Yeah.
And they're not dumb, and you say exactly what's going on, and you say, at the end of the day, if I'm, people ask what do I buy for my kid, and I always say don't buy like a super cheap thing. Like spend the money
Find
to
something that works.
buy something that works first off, and then make sure you have a pinpointer and make sure you have a bag and make sure you have the right shovel so you're not like, frustrated. Because when I first started, I was a kid, I had like a garden trowel and no bag and no pinpointer and like, I didn't know what the heck I
Right.
was doing, and I still loved it. It's like, so fully explaining what you're doing and why you're doing it and all that is super important, and that's a big reason why I do it. It's really for young people to understand.
One of the first things that I learned when I was learning to be a football coach, youth football coach, the most important thing about teaching youth anything at all, is you got to make it fun. If it's not fun, they're not interested. Just the way it is, it's got to be fun. And really that holds true for even as an adult. I mean, think about if you take an adult out metal detecting, you give them a metal detector that's too complicated for them, right? Or a cheap one that doesn't work. You take him out there and he's not having fun. You think he's coming back to do it again? No.
Nope.
No, because it's what it's about. It's about having fun. It's about the hunt. It's about being with people. And ultimately it's about finding that little bit of treasure,
Yep.
So yeah, it's gotta be fun or they're not gonna do it again.
Yep.
That was a something they drove in really hard, when I was learning to coach. Gotta make it fun. If you don't make it fun, they're not gonna come back. So
That's
gotta
what
be
I
fun.
that's what I try to impart on my viewers, and especially, then we're talking about adults who want to get into this, and like I just say, like for instance, I recommend people start with the Vanquish 440. And I've had so many people tell me like, thank you for telling me to get this machine because it works and it's great and whatever. Because I don't want you to go and buy something like off Amazon that's gonna like not work, and then you're gonna say, oh well, this hobby sucks and whatever.
Right,
It's like,
right.
you go and you buy the right shovel and you buy the right pinpointer and you buy a bag, doesn't need to be the right bag, and you buy the right detector. You don't have to go to Equinox right away, but instead of spending $100, you spend 200, and you're much happier with yourself and you have a lot better of a time.
Yeah, because if you spend that, you'll know whether you want to spend any more at that point.
Right.
You'll know whether you want to continue this.
Yep.
Am I satisfied with what I got, or do I want something better, or do I not care? It would be terrible just go out and buy a gold monster for almost $1,000 and realize I don't like doing this.
That's what you guys tell everybody about gold prospecting too.
Right.
Don't go out and spend $5,000 on this if you've never done it.
Right.
Buy a gold pan and a shovel.
Pan and a
a
shovel.
classifier. Then if you like panning, buy a sluice. If you like sluicing, go from there.
Yep.
It is work. It is.
I mean, it happens in both hobbies. You'll see the guy come out with his brand new, never done it before metal detector. It costs him, over $1,000. He gets out there, swings it for half a day, and gets tired and says, "I'm done. This ain't no good. I don't know how to use this. I'll never learn how to use this." It takes time. And I think that's the problem. We were talking about this earlier with TikTok. It's instant gratification. It takes time to learn your equipment. You're not going to pick it all up in one day. It's going to take you using it over and over again. Panning, the same thing. You're not going to get. You can have the theory and know the motions, but you're not going to have the feel, the rhythm, everything you need to actually work your pan to catch your gold. Same with the metal detector. You got to learn your machine, learn your tools. God, I say that so often. I get tired of hearing me say it. And I know they do too.
Something I tell people is You know, if you have the patience for fishing, you'll have the patience for metal detecting. I mean, ultimately, people call it dirt fishing. Like, you know, you're gonna cast and you're gonna catch weeds. Metal detecting, you're gonna find junk. And I think
Oh
that's
yeah,
people don't understand is that even if you have the best metal detector in the world, if you're not digging junk, you're not doing it right. Like
right.
you have to, or you're not gonna find the good stuff. That massive gold class ring, I say it all the time when I'm streaming and I'm finding like nothing but pull tabs pretty much. And people are like, this is boring. It's only pull tabs. I'm like, do you understand that this
Right.
like massive gold ring sounded just like these pull tabs? Like you can't not dig, like you can't
Can't
just
dig, you can't walk by it. You just
you
can't
can't.
walk by it.
You just
Hell,
can't do it.
I can't walk by garbage.
Right.
You know, I mean, I think
So
that's why I like Gypsy because zero discrimination. Is you got to dig it all out, get that stuff out of the way, so you can find the good stuff, and that makes
yep.
so much sense. You know,
Yep.
not everyone gets the fever. Not everyone finds the gold either.
Right. And it takes time. Like PA,
Yeah,
it took me a year to get panning down. And PA, panning and prospecting is probably your most important asset. It
dude, I've
begins
been.
with a pan, it ends with a pan.
You're awfully brave, Pan, PA Patriot, because I've been doing this going on 10 years, and I still don't trust my panning. I
That's
still,
why I
I
use
still
a
have to use a
safety
safety
tape.
pan. Right, I still use a safety pan because doo-doo occurs.
Maybe if I lived somewhere like Two Toes or Dan Hurd, I wouldn't worry about a safety pin. But here in Ohio, I count every little tiny speck I get.
I hear you. PA needs a Miller table. We all do. But yeah, it's just one of those things. I feel that as representing the hobby and stuff, we need to go out there, go out in a good light.
Yep.
Not. I mean, because I've seen people dig holes and not cover them. I've seen people leave terrible, just terrible messes. Like here where I live in the city, you cannot metal detect in any parts
Yep.
simply because in the past people have done that.
People
You
ruin
know,
it.
right? And that's the taste I was telling you about earlier. The hobbies of in the past have left such a bad taste in people's minds that it's hard for them to get beyond what happened in the past, and it's hard for them to look at things that are happening today. They see you out metal detector and they think of the guy 30 years ago who was out here in the park just digging holes everywhere, and some lady walked by and busted her ankle because the guy didn't fill his holes.
Right.
Today, I think the majority of us understand that, you
Yep.
know. So we have to use that and show people that's not what we do anymore. It's really up to us modern day prospectors, let's say.
For any type of treasure hunter, really.
Right. Treasure hunting, any type of treasure
Pack
hunting.
out your trash, throw it away properly. Um, dig good
We are
plugs, proper
we are
plugs.
stewards.
I've seen videos, Tucker, where these people aren't digging a proper plug and it's a hole and it's a messy hole. I use a towel or a piece of uh, rubber
Uh,
roofing where I put the spoils from my plug hole on so I can dump it right back in. I cut a nice U shape. I encourage, if you're working on plugs, use your own yard for
That's what I was just gonna say.
practice.
Yep. That's what I tell people. Oh, that's where I started. Like when I was a
That's where
kid,
I started.
and I'd screw up my backyard, and my dad would get angry, and that's just like the way it goes. But at least you're screwing up your own lawn. The other thing I tell people is starting at the beach is very helpful to just understand like where the thing is under your coil. And then maybe go to your backyard
Yeah.
even. Um, and then like that's where I started when I was like a young kid. Metal detecting was really just the beach, like the dry sand, finding coins. And I never found a precious ring, but I remember finding like a non-precious ring and being so excited about it. Yeah, so like, if you're new to metal detecting, dry sand in the beach, your backyard. And ultimately it really makes me cringe when I watch a content creator who's metal detecting not dig like a nice plug. Like sometimes it happens where the soil is super dry or the sod isn't good and it just crumbles as the way it is. But like, God, like just dig the semicircle and don't mess it up and like dig it, multiple ways and fit it back together like a puzzle. Like it just shows me you're not as experienced, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
so with the experience comes like you find where it is, then you dig. And even I, with thousands of hours of metal detecting experience, even though it sounds crazy because I'm, a young person, I have dug so many holes in my lifetime. I mean, all these silver coins, for every silver coin, there's 50, 100 pieces of trash I've dug. Even I miss it, when I pinpoint with the detector, it's actually in the side of the plug and oh, that sucks. It
Oh,
happened, but
you know how many times I've dug a plug, not found it, and then realized that it's like 4 inches to the right of where I dug the plug. What's it doing way over there? And so then I gotta think, so do I dig another plug or do I burrow over to it?
yep, the conundrum. I know it.
Yeah. Do I just kind of dig under the grass there and get to it, or do I just
Yep.
go ahead and cut another hole? I've already
Yep.
messed this one up. And it
Yep.
happens too much.
It happens. And with experience, you get better and better at it. But yeah, I mean, I've seen it in real life. Like I've been metal detecting at a park. I see another guy doing it, and I go over, and he's just left like a complete mess. And I'm like, man, like you gotta like you're making
Right.
me look bad. It's like I left that mess. Like, so and at the end of the day, people are inexperienced, and it doesn't mean you're like a bad person or anything like that. It's just you'll learn. And I always say dig a semicircle. It's the best way to do it because you
Right.
can just back over,
Flip it
um,
over. And,
and that's it. I used to dig the circle, but I found that you might not orient it correctly when you put
right.
it back, and
Well,
so
Then
here I
it
got
turns brown
right.
before it gets
right. So
green.
I got a question. When you dig your plug, because I'm not sure whether I'm doing it right or not. When you dig your plug, do you dig straight down or do you give it a bevel?
Um, it's like I guess a slight bevel. Um, I think ultimately, like when I dig straight down, it's a deeper plug, and it might be a little bit better for the ground, but it's really tough. The shovel I use is the Lesh T handle. It's serrated. It's built like a brick house, and so it goes right through.
Got one.
And it's really tough to pull it out when you go straight down. And so sometimes I don't want to like rip it out of the sod every time, and so the little bit of angle and the little bit of push after you give it in going around helps it. But that's like some real nuanced stuff like that you just kind of like feel as you go. And um yeah, so a little bit of an angle I
A
go at.
little bit, not
A
not
little bit.
not a whole big angle, but a
Yeah.
little bit, just so that you're able
Yep.
to get in.
Yep.
Yeah, because I've always sometimes I'll dig them straight down. I don't know why. Sometimes I'll take them at an angle. It's just
Yep.
I because I didn't know. I don't know what would be the proper plug would be one on a slight bevel, right?
I
Kind of like the top of a pumpkin.
Yeah. Yeah. You know,
Okay?
like the conical plug, like that'd be like the perfect plug. But
Right?
ultimately, if you pinpoint and now you're thinking about the bevel going in, you might be hitting something if you're going too far. So like giving it like a little bit, and really
Uh-huh.
that little bit is like to help you kind of leverage like it out, but not
Right, to
too
get it out.
much. Because
Right.
if you push too much, then the other thing is you push the side of the plug out
Right.
too
The other
much.
side. Right.
And then when you put it back over, there's all this area around it. And so what I often do is
Yes.
I push in, then I put it back, then I push down, then I push around. Like it's just over time you learn like how to really make it look like how you found it. And even I, who like that's what I preach in nearly every video I post, I screw it up, like it happens. Sometimes the plug falls apart because it's too dry,
Right.
you miss it. Sometimes the target is like in the sod itself, so you got to dig through the plug and it messes the plug up. Like things happen, but in general I try to stick to
Well,
that.
I've noticed that after a couple of years of messed up holes I made, you can't tell they're there anymore.
Sure.
That's a good thing about Gaia. You heals herself.
Yeah, I'm glad I took the time to learn how to dig a proper plug in my own yard. And I found my first silver in my own.
Wow.
Yeah.
I have
Unfortunately, it was a silver Roosevelt. A silver, right, Tucker?
Yeah, definitely.
I found
It's
my
no
first half in my yard. It was a Kennedy half.
nice.
That's the first time I took it out too, playing in my yard, trying to figure out my metal detector. And I found something out about my metal detector. It picks up the rebar in the sidewalk.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm digging next to the sidewalk and digging and digging, and I'm not finding a target, but I keep getting a target, and then I finally realized, oh, it's probably the rebar that's in the sidewalk.
Well, at least it isn't bad as that place.
Oh, be quiet, Ed. He's gonna tell you a story about me digging all day trying to hit this target in California with my gold monster, and every time I swung over the hole I was digging, it was there, and I kept digging, and I reached down and I couldn't find it. Finally, the guy that was out there with us, he grabs my metal detector and checks the hole a little bit. It's about that far underground on the wall of the hole, and it was a piece of foil.
Yeah, but
It wasn't even a
foil
good target.
Foil
It wasn't even a
sounds
good target.
so good, though. That's what I hate about aluminum. It sounds so good, a lot like gold. And it's like,
Yep.
oh my.
The
Heavy
killers
metal.
Heavy Meadows.
What
aluminum
about?
foil and pull tabs
Yeah,
are the
Yeah.
I hear that. Colin, great seeing you. Great seeing you this past weekend, brother. Like I talked about earlier, Tucker, I was at an outing and I've met a few of the people that for the first time that's in the room now. Somewhere in Ohio, I met him for the weekend in PA Patriot Prospecting, and I was reacquainted with an old friend, Heavy Meadow Detective. It's amazing the friendships, like now after being on here for so long, a lot of my friendships are actually from YouTube. Most of them, if not all of them.
great.
Heck yeah. Well, dang, you made it through
You
the
made it
2
through 2
hours.
hours, Tucker.
Wow.
Time
Hey,
flies.
it's been fun. I've had a great time.
Well, we're glad. We know you were a little nervous. You've never done a actual podcast like this, but it's not that hard. Like I said, it's like sitting around a campsite.
Yep.
Chewing the fat.
Oh, don't leave yet, Perry. It's not over yet till the fat lady sings. Oh wait, we don't have a fat
Wait.
lady sing it.
No,
It's not done till the credits roll.
that would be. Uh,
One thing I forgot to mention is a lot of my recent videos have been bottle digging.
yeah.
I've gotten on this old dump and I've been finding so much. This video until I made the Facebook and I have that 20 million view random video on there. This was my most viewed video on TikTok is a 1949 Coca-Cola bottle.
Awesome.
And it's
Cool.
special
Nice.
because it's
No
it's
crack.
clear. And
Yeah.
so the old ones used to be green. And so
Mhm.
during World War II, they made them clear because they were keeping the copper from
Right.
the copper made them green. So this was a special bottle I found and it had like 9 million on TikTok, which up until like a few days ago was my most
Yeah,
viewed.
they're not that common.
No.
Oh. And then to
So-
find one in a bottle dump, not broke or cracked.
And it's intact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's beautiful, Tucker. And
Yep.
now all the artifacts and stuff on your channel art, is that all personal finds?
Yep. Yep.
Some nice stuff there, buddy. Nice
Thanks.
stuff.
So are you creating art with your finds?
No, he's talking about the
The
like the
banner.
channel banner I got.
Oh, the banner.
So,
Okay.
you know, they're like stock images of those coins, but like
Right.
for instance, that second prize men's single canoe on there was a like a medallion. I think it would have been a key fob maybe, but it says it's like a silver token. And it says men's single canoe second prize. Which is so
Here's something to look for. And you wouldn't believe that it's going to be a valuable item. Any badges or awards for marble tournaments.
Hmm.
You'd be surprised as many people pay for those things. It's unbelievable. The
I've
old.
never-
So if you're out
Jesse's
melee
like
detecting and you
I
run,
find a
I'm
marble.
a marble guy.
a marble award.
Yeah, marble
Yep.
awards, stuff like that. Because they used to have tournaments, and they were national back in the 40s, 50s. It was a big thing. Pre-World War II also. But you find any kind of awards like that, especially metal detecting, pins or badges, dude.
Okay.
It's crazy. Hell, there's pieces of glass shaped into round balls that are worth hundreds of up $1,000 a piece.
Yep. I found some marbles while digging, and I actually the video I posted yesterday, I found a marble while digging in that dump, but I'm just not an expert. That's another thing I want to like research a little more so that I know what I'm talking about if I find one, because I just don't know. It could have been old, but it also looked,
Well,
You never-
they have marbles in a couple different categories on my book.
Ellsworth, say hi to the girls for us, Lacey. And yes, Lacey, Uncle Jesse is nuts. He's
Hi.
crazy. He's
I'm looking
crazy.
for a book. I can't find it.
Don't worry about it, Justin.
Yeah, don't worry about
There's-
it,
there-
Jesse.
there's,
Listen to your producer over there. Don't worry about
There's books on it. I can't.
Yeah.
Block, I think is his name. But he's got a dictionary, not a dictionary, but a reference guide that shows you all the different types of marbles. Like I was saying, there's pre-World War II marbles. There's marbles that are post-World War. Those are different categories. There's German marbles. German marbles are awesome. So yeah, anytime you find a marble, don't pass them by. Hang on to them, collect them. At some point, you'll run into somebody that knows their marbles and can tell you if you got anything worth anything that looks like an onion skin, anything that's got lots of really spin swirls running through it. Those are typically German marbles. They were in their pre-World War II. Very valuable marbles, hard to find. But we had tons of them here back before the war. So they're around, you know.
Yep.
I like marbles because I played marbles growing up. I played
Yeah,
marbles
we
all
know
the time.
you're older than dirt, Jesse. You played with
Yeah.
clay marbles.
I have some of those too.
Probably you're so old you had to chip your marble. The stone's round to be marble.
He lost his marbles. What are you talking about?
But yeah, it's it's amazing some of the things, the value of things that you look at today and go, well, that ain't nothing. That's just a marble. You show that to the right person, it could be a $1,000 marble. I got $30 marbles, that you look at and you go, how's that worth $30? Well, because that's what I paid for it. So,
You're the one willing to pay $30.
but I'm not the only one. Trust me, I'm not the only one.
Oh yeah,
It's
it's amazing what collectors will buy.
Yep. I'll buy it all. Yeah, I know,
The market
GP,
for
you lost
everything.
yours a long time ago.
We're a little in overtime, Tucker. Again, I appreciate you joining us. I'm glad you ended up staying for the whole show. I'm glad you had a good time.
Yeah, it was fun.
Alrighty. Well,
It
thank
seemed
you.
like everybody was enjoying the chat, was enjoying what you were talking about. Some people are in here learning things, and that's always cool.
Definitely. I was
Hi, Lacey.
Who's Lacey?
Ellsworth, one of the girls.
Oh, hi.
They were
That
at
was really
Flash
nice.
Bash 2 years ago,
Yes.
or at the Double D.
Yes.
Yep. Girls give great hugs. Give the girls a hugs for me, Ellsworth.
For all of us.
Yeah. As you were saying, Tucker, I'm sorry.
All good. Thank you so much for having me on. I had a great time.
Good.
Always excited to talk about this stuff. Yep, and have people to talk about it with. Thanks to everyone in the chat for being so positive, having a good time. I see David. Thanks for watching. That's all for me.
Yeah, we appreciate you being here, dude. It was a good time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. And we appreciate it. Next week, as always, it's Open Line Tuesday, the last Tuesday of the month. We have a good June lineup already for you all. Fossick coming up here before too long, the middle of next month. And hope to see some of you there. And anything else, Jesse?
Well, we got Fossick and then Gold Rush
Gold Rush
Days.
Days.
Yeah, Gold Rush Day to Labor Day. We have
Every
lots of
tuck here that every last Tuesday of the month we have open line.
yeah.
Tuesday, you come on. And you got something to announce, something to talk about, something you want to put out
Announce
to
your webpage
another
opening
audience.
up.
Come on, say hi, do your thing, and
You picked
stay or
up a
leave.
few more subscribers tonight, I noticed in the chat.
Yep.
Nice.
Again, and most important of all, thank you, all of you who join us every Tuesday and everyone who's lurking. And
Oh yes, don't
all
forget on
the
lurkers.
new viewers, welcome to the Flash Fam. Everybody over at Spotify and iHeartRadio who listens to the replay, thank you very much. On that note, until next time, may you always have a flash in your pan.
You know what he's gonna say next.
That's right, because it does happen, right, PA? Right somewhere in Ohio? It does happen. Run for the Hills Earth Radio does happen. Maybe one day too. Will you on the river. Good night, everybody. God bless. As of now, we are out of here.
Another story told, another tale in gold. From the creek beds deep to the mountain cold, we rolled the tape, turned back the hands, relived the dreams through worn-out hands. Faces familiar, voices strong, flashing back to where we all belong. So until we strike the stream again, with pick and pan and grinning friends, we'll keep the fire burning bright, Tuesday nights in golden light. YouTube's glow, that warm replay, legends live another day. Flash in your pan, it never fades, echoes of gold in the past we made. The guess, the laughs, the claims stay truths, the hunt for gold, the wild old roots. Time may pass, but this we know, history's got that golden glow. So raise a glass to memories, dredged up from their flashback streams. We'll be back, just wait and see, on Tuesday night, Hangout, live history.